All right, all right. I'm gonna bring everybody in here. So, for those watching, we are on multiple platforms today. So, welcome to this week's weekly recap. I just checked our Twitter, and it's up on Twitter. Is the Twitch thing look good?
Yes, if anyone wants to, it's twitch.tv/it's_Skelly.
Okay, so here we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter today. I'm still not going to call it X just because I'm never going to call it X.
No,
so
never.
That's not going to happen. So we're going to do our weekly recap. Last week we did not do we did Raw the night after because we wanted to recap the Howdy Faction debut. So this week, for recapping last week, we'll talk about NXT, minor shows through SmackDown, and all that stuff. So for those who are new, welcome. It is June 24th. Beautiful Monday here. As always, continue the discussion over on Reddit in the WWE subreddit. And thanks to our friends at Ascendant for the Doomsday Machine soundtrack. Welcome aboard. And to kick the show off, let's kick off with the news of the day with the announcement about Indianapolis. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy. I think Pat McAfee had a lot to do with pushing that one through a little bit.
Yeah,
because he still lives there. It's been his home for a long time, and he's very big in the area. So now that he's big in WWE, I think he had a little bit to do with that.
Would say, yeah, probably. Well, they announced the Royal Rumble has a date, but the other two don't. So I think I read somewhere first Royal Rumble in February, if my stats are right.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yep.
It's because the Super Bowl, it's how the AFC or the championship games and the Super Bowl line up this year. They don't want to compete on those weekends with it, so they want to make sure it's on that in between week.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing today too that Triple H said when he was on Pat McAfee was that the fans should thank Pat tonight when he comes out for doing this, and he said a big selling point on putting all three of these big events in Indianapolis was Fastlane a year ago.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Is that Lucas Oil is a pretty good stadium?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what their
pretty big.
Is.
I think they might have a Super Bowl coming there soon.
Yeah. 70,000 capacity. Last one was February 5th, 2012. Last Super Bowl at Lucas Oil.
That was right around when they built it, I believe, because they were in the RCA Dome before that.
Okay, so not too bad. On the subject of Pat McAfee, I had another thing. That's a nice segue. So, last episode we talked about the debut of the Wyatt Six. For those who do not watch the Pat McAfee show, we saw on June 21st a little invasion by the Wyatt Six, and I don't know if you guys caught it today or not, but also happened again today on the episode.
Yeah.
One of the shot.
What is this about?
I don't know. One of the shots too, when they were showing their the production team in the back, it looked like Dexter Loomis was without a mask, just standing way in the back too. And there's one guy who looks like Bo that was there, but I don't think it was Bo. After I rewinded and checked it, because this guy's skinnier than Bo is.
Ah, interesting. Okay. So I don't know. I can't remember if Pat McAfee did anything to tick them off or what the story is there with that.
I don't either. I'm actually looking at that right now, and I don't see anything. But I do like how they're taking these stories off of WWE TV and into like other forms of media that WWE's attached to.
Yeah, I mean, because we saw it on the game. Obviously, the servers go down a lot, but I mean, it was a coincidence that it happened at that time, so it's something.
Yeah. So, like, I'm very interested to see where they're going with this, because I don't know what Pat McAfee lied about.
They could have been saying it about Triple H too, because when they flashed it across the screen today was when Triple H was there.
Ooh. I wonder if it was a preview last week when they took over to Triple H being on today.
Yeah,
and Triple H is the next target.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen it either. The Adam Pearce's Twitter account's been acting up too.
Yeah, there was I think somebody said there was a glitch when he did a video that cleared Chad Gable. So yeah, we will touch on that one as well momentarily. We've got some fun stuff for that discussion. So
Yeah, there's so much going on.
we'll actually I'll save that till the end. That's a fun one. We'll wait on that one. So I guess we'll start with NXT. Took me a while to put this one together because I was trying to remember who all was in the Battle Royal, but I found the list somewhere. I'm not going to name off all these people, but just quick results before we get into it. Javon Evans won the Battle Royal. There was a triple threat match with Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice defeating the Metaphor and JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. Kalani Jordan defended the North American Women's Championship that she won, defeating Michin. Fallon Henley defeated Carly Bright. Chase Yu defeated the OC, and Ethan Page defeated Javon Evans. Not a good look for your guy there, but I was obviously very disappointed in the outcome of the Battle Royal. Starting there, Javon Evans, very talented, but I don't feel he's ready yet. So very disappointed about it, but I'll just kick it off there. What's your thoughts?
Disappointed highly at the beginning. We were all pushing to see Joe Hendry in WWE and NXT. We were expecting him to show up.
Yep.
Without any confirmation, we knew he was going to be there.
Yeah.
He shows up at the beginning of the show, and then he was the first one eliminated. But at the beginning of it, did anyone notice that Ethan Page didn't get eliminated?
Yeah.
And that when I first saw that, and then at the end, it's like there was no explanation for it. I'm glad they did the match at the end with Ethan Page versus Javon Evans to pretty much make up for like them not explaining why Ethan Page, Javon Evans won. But Joe Hendry getting eliminated right off the bat, that kind of killed it for me.
I am hoping that's a setup for something later. Like
I think it is. If you watched on, I think it was on X or on Instagram or whatever, when he went backstage, he confronted Shawn Michaels. Yeah, and he pretty much said, "I'll be back when I want to," type thing, And I think he will come back.
Well, have you guys noticed what's going on with Brooks Jensen recently?
Yeah.
So that's all an angle. He's not a free agent. And he's actually done a few independent circuit shows this past week to sell it. And he said he'll go make an impact someplace. I think we're setting up for a War Games type thing with TNA and NXT. Them going after Joe Hendry first to keep it in NXT. And then with Brooks Jensen, I think we'll see him go over to TNA to start to rally up their team to go against NXT in the future.
Since we're on the subject of NXT, I forgot to bring that in because it was a few days ago. A lot's been going on. They're also working allegedly with AAA now. So
is it AAA or CMLL?
I think Meltzer said it was triple. I know, take what he says with a grain of salt, but let's see. I have his exact quote because I wrote it down the other day.
I think they were inquiring with CMLL.
Dave Meltzer reports that AAA owner Dorian Roldan has been talking with NXT. Further details were not provided, but Meltzer noted that CMLL may be the preferred partner in Mexico. So, yeah, looks like beyond TNA, there's more stuff in the works, which would be freaking awesome. I love lucha wrestling, so I am all about that.
Very interesting timing, too, with Forbidden Door, because CMLL's already factored into that. So, very interesting timing with them going after him.
The good thing, the one thing I am excited about with that is the fact that there's been rumors that WWE's interested in Pentagon.
Nice.
And Pentagon, I mean, getting into that lucha side of things would be a good tie-in if they partner with CMLL.
One of my dream matches on my dream sheet is Pentagon and Phoenix against the Usos.
Yes.
It's one that I would have always wanted. I just would love to see it. I think it'd be a great pay-per-view quality match. So I would definitely like to see that happen at some point.
Yeah.
Sean Spears made it pretty far in the Battle Royal, though. That was my pick to win. So I'm glad he went as far as he did. I still, I don't know if you're the point of this is to have a number one contender. You want like a top guy, and like Javon's not a top guy. He's very talented, but not a top guy.
But you saw the ending shot, though. The belt was in the middle of all four of them, so
it's gonna be a 4-way match.
Yeah, it's minimum a triple threat, but I think they're just hitting on the fatal 4-way because you had Ethan Page who didn't get eliminated. And my question is too that no one's answered in WWE at all. It was Ora Mensah even in the match. I know he was in street clothes, but he was a guy that technically wasn't eliminated either if he was in.
Yeah.
What's the next pay-per-view? Isn't it Heatwave before
Heatwave, day after Money in the Bank.
Or after Money in the Bank, yeah. So not too far away. Okay.
Sean Spears is from Canada, correct?
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know that for a fact. So that would make sense to put him in the main event if he is.
Yes, he is a Canadian professional wrestler from Ontario.
Yep.
Well, it's in Ontario too, so that fits the mold right there.
They would be stupid not to have him in that match.
To do a little backtracking, do you know who his spouse is?
Yes, he's a freaking Cassie Lee, right?
Cassie Lee, yeah.
Yep.
Formerly of Impact. So interesting. Could hopefully see them come back to WWE at some point. I think they were horribly underused. Annoying, but talented.
I loved them. They were annoying to the point where I actually liked their characters. They were believable in that annoying aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the misused Chelsea Green we got going on right now.
She just had a baby June 21st. So
yeah, it was their second. They have 2 kids now.
Hey, Chelsea Green. Hey, when we get to SmackDown, there's a shot. Chelsea Stans finally got our moment. So
she's from Canada too, and Money in the Bank's in Canada. That's another one that aligns for him.
You know what I'd like to see is, I would like to see them allow at least like one competitor from NXT in the Money in the Bank ladder match. You could make it 6, 3 from each brand. Throw in one person from NXT. I think that would make it interesting.
Yeah.
They don't have to win. Just throw them in it. Like throw in a Sean Spears, maybe someone who's been on the main roster before, or someone who's like someone that people know, would be cool. Throw
was Sean on the main roster in his NXT run?
Sean Spears, Ty was on the main roster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if he was
with him. He was, but they didn't do anything with him. Because remember in the Royal Rumble, he always showed up number 10.
Oh yeah.
We could still see it though, because I've seen a lot of rumors of saying they might do the last week's running into it, like all the guys that didn't win their matches, something with them to try to get in, like would open up what you said, Jason, about Finn Balor getting in the Money in the Bank ladder match a week ago. So maybe we'll see some NXT competitors and whatever style of match they do that, because I assume it won't be triple threats if they use everyone.
I want that to happen because I will be in the Garden next week for Raw. So if that happens, I'm going nuts.
Oh, lucky duck!
and I'll be at Madison Square Garden this Friday for SmackDown.
I think that's the money show right there. Yep. They always do big shows there.
So, a pretty decent show. Any other takeaway you guys had from NXT?
Disappointed. The push that looks like they've been trying to give the OC just dwindled and faded out this week or last week when they lost to Chase U. I understand trying to push younger talent, but if you're gonna have them win week over week, they're bigger guys, Oh, now that Ridge Holland is segued now into part of Chase U, it looks like
that was the other
trying to give them a push.
I believe on SmackDown too, the OC was in the back of a shot. Was it with Cody or Drew when he was bringing CM Punk? They were just standing back there. So I'm wondering how they're going to use them.
And Meechan's been on SmackDown a lot more recently too. So, and she's using the Styles Clash, which I love.
Yeah. So. The other thing, though, we lest we forget. Now, for those if we have new listeners at our new destination, we don't trash other promotions. When everybody does well, it's a good thing. Competition's a good thing. It makes everybody better. We do discuss it, though, from time to time. NXT beat 8 in the ratings.
Oh, God.
How does that happen?
Well, according to them, it was Juneteenth. The weather was nice out. There was a Kendrick Lamar concert. What else was there? Other excuses? Oh, they didn't have the Big Bang Theory to lead into it this week. It was Black Panther, so they didn't have a nuts carryover. Every excuse under the sun.
Yep.
It's because you put a bad product on the shows and good on the pay-per-view, and you actually put on a good Dynamite this week too. So it's unfortunate that no one cared enough to watch it after all the bad stuff you've done in the past.
But it's not only the ratings though, but you got to look at ticket sales. You know, they had less than 3,000 people at Dynamite, and even NXT and SmackDown and Raw had more ticket sales. So I mean,
it's unfortunate.
But the one thing that Tony Khan did say, which I kind of agree with him on, is he is like a maniac type person. He loves that hardcore style of wrestling. So he puts on the show for the same type of fan he is. Yep. And I think that's what's pigeonholing their audience, their ratings, is because they're not pushing towards getting that mainstream media, which is what these TV stations and these media companies want to see. If you're not bringing those numbers in with the mainstream audience, they're not going to put money and invest that time into you. It's like bringing in Logan Paul. Like, probably a majority of us would say that we weren't the happiest about it, but it put butts in seats. It got impressions. Yep. You started getting mainstream attention on Twitter and everything because you saw Cody Rhodes on the Logan Paul or what the hell his podcast is called. Impulsive. Yeah, you had Triple H on there. You had The Undertaker on there. Cody Rhodes. They need to do that kind of thing. Yep.
It's not like putting the belt on David Arquette as we saw in Who Killed WCW this past week.
I should get a David Arquette nameplate for that belt.
I will fire you. Your stream will be okay. Hang on. All right, so back to the show.
Oh, jeez.
That last episode was really good, though. Vince Russo wasn't as annoying as usual. Like I thought it was pretty good. I mean, he did make a lot of good points. I mean, I think it was pretty good. It was a pretty good show. Looking forward to the next one because it looks like they have a lot more backstage stuff from the last Nitro, which some of that when they were showing the preview, I haven't seen a lot of that. So I was really excited about that.
I'm surprised they mentioned Benoit too with WWE doing it. They usually
did. Did you hear that? Yeah.
They try to get away from that whatsoever, and The Rock runs it now, and so he had no problem doing it. And I was sort of shocked by that, to say the least.
Yep.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was really surprised.
Like Paul Heyman said years ago when he called out a guy at a Q&A session, he was like, you respect the guy for his wrestling ability. What he did in the ring was phenomenal. And if they're going to talk about him in that aspect, then I have no problem with it.
Yeah, agree 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I hate talking about politics, but like it's like people who vote for certain politicians because they like their policies but hate them as a person. It's kind of like that. If you can separate them from what they do, then it's easier to rationalize it. Not being apologetic about what he did at all. Horrible stuff. But I think that's how some people approach it from what I've seen.
Yeah. Some people can do that and some people can't. So you're always going to have that back and forth on that aspect.
Well, on that, I heard this today on Pat McAfee that Arn Anderson used to be the mayor of Knoxville, like Glenn Jacobs is now. I did not know that before today.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I believe
wasn't.
I thought Michael Cole said that, or
that's
someone
interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, that was a shock to me when I heard that today.
I'm sitting here looking it up. I'm like, wait a minute. What's his real name? Is it Arn Anderson?
It's Martin Anthony Lund, Lunde.
Martin Lund, mayor. There's other Lunds there too in that area. So it's probably like a family thing. Okay, mayors. Let's look.
Yeah, because I was sort of shocked when they said that.
He's not listed here. I don't know. That's interesting. We'll have to look into that later. We'll do an episode on it.
It was either Michael Cole or Ryan McGee that said it. I don't remember, but
So WWE Speed started a new bracket with Xavier Woods defeating Dijak. Main event, we saw Zoe Stark defeating Ivy Nile, Julius Creed defeating Tyler Bate. And then over on Level Up, Tyson DuPont and Tyreek defeating Cutler James, and who's like the new jobber. And Dion Lennox, Shiloh Hill defeating Uriah Connors, and Carmen Petrovic defeating Ren Sinclair. So to touch on Speed first, there's the new bracket. Like, what kind of bracket is this? There's like 4 people in it. Are you running out of people?
I can't wait to see Tozawa versus Nathan Frazier. You shitting me?
Like, what?
What are they doing?
This is AEW booking. Like, why is this happening?
So one thing we always talk about is we're expecting WWE to drop the ball at some point. I would rather have them drop the ball and screw up WWE Speed than the main shows. So let them have this one. Let them screw this one up.
Okay, so I'm pulling up the contract on WWE Speed. The title is exclusive to X. Speed matches will air weekly for 52 weeks a year, and the deal runs for 2 years.
Oh, man.
So this is nowhere near.
I need to get to 52 weeks in the future, or 2 years in the future.
If the final Speed champion isn't R-Truth, I'm walking out.
Yep.
He has to get it at some point. Like, he has to.
Especially with every time the champion defends it after the tournament, it counts as a one time they were the champion? Because Ricochet was what, like a 2 or 3 time champion?
See, I wouldn't mind Xavier Woods having it because I know he does like live streams and stuff.
Wonder what they're doing with him though. That's
definite tension between him and Kofi.
Yep.
I know it's not the Vince era where every tag team gets split up. So if they actually do split them up, I hope they do it with good cause or with a good storyline.
I'm hoping they have a bit of a feud, but it leads to Big E coming back to bring the New Day back together.
Yeah.
See that.
Saying, you guys are brothers, you can't do this, we're a team, let's get this shit together.
I think so. So yeah, some pretty basic matches. I was glad to see Zoe Stark and Ivy Nile face off against each other. They're 2 of my favorite female wrestlers, so I thought that was a really cool match. I was glad to see that happen. Creed's getting into some singles action, which is cool. Definitely think they're a mainstay on main events. I'm pretty sure they're getting them ready for something. So the newly revived Chad Gable perhaps is going to need some backup. So yeah.
What'd you think about Julius using Wade Barrett's finisher?
I don't know what's going on there.
Because they can't use the Brutus ball unless he wants to get DQ'd.
Yeah. Yep. And then Level Up. I mean, basic. I mean, nothing really stood out about any of that to me. No. I like Carmen Petrovic a lot, though. Definitely looking forward to her future. I think she's gonna be something. So
with the Shiloh Hill Uriah Connors match, I thought I was watching Prince versus Bo Dallas.
Ouch.
Uriah Connors looks like he can fit in pretty deadly, and Shiloh Hill gave me a little reminder of a young Bo Dallas, the way he looks.
Oh, you just gotta believe.
Yep.
You know, Shiloh Hill is the place where the Battle of Shiloh was in the American Civil War. That's an interesting name they chose there.
Yeah.
Who won that one? Let's find out. Coming up next on our history podcast. What we really want to talk about is SmackDown. I'll read this down real quick. Men's qualifiers, we saw Carmelo beating Orton and Tama Tonga, Andrade beating Kevin Owens and Grayson Waller, and Chelsea Green defeating Bianca Belair and Michin, Cody Rhodes defeating Solo Sikoa via disqualification. We'll go top to bottom with this show, but first of all, overall thoughts, freaking, it's like they got a new writer. Best SmackDown I've seen in ages.
2 in a week. Best Raw we've seen this year. Best SmackDown we've seen this year.
This is accurate, yeah. It was accurate.
We should have known, though, it was going to be a good show, because every time they're at Allstate Arena, that's where we had the Rock and the Cody segment out in the back with the bus. That's where we had CM Punk come back at War Games. They always put on a big show there, and we should have known that, because that's one of their best American crowds that they get in that building.
Mm-hmm. So I loved it. I was so excited. But I guess we'll start with the top of the show with the CM Punk promo. Paul Heyman, ECW chants, Paul Heyman throwing shade at the Wyatt Six, saying the security is for the Wyatts, not for the bloodline. Yeah. And then Paul saying, "Take me with you" to CM Punk.
Yeah, he was like, well, what's the favor you want me to do for you? He's like, "Take me with you."
Take me with you.
I didn't expect Paul to come out. I like how they're pushing, since Paul and CM Punk have a history. You know, the bloodline is hands off of Punk.
Yeah,
I liked that little angle there. So
that was a cool mention. I like that.
Yeah, it was a good segment, and I like how, you know, Cody and them came out to help when the bloodline started attacking.
Yeah,
very, very strong opening segment too. I think they usually go into commercial 9 or 10 minutes after they go on air, and I believe they waited till at least 15 minutes into it this time.
Yeah.
I don't have this card handy. I didn't save this photo, but I'm sure many will remember it. Backstage after that, there was a segment with Cody, KO, and Orton. A couple things I wanted to mention. RKO said they wanted to back him up. Cody said he had a plan, which I didn't think materialized into anything. And then we saw the Pluto symbol for Uncle Howdy when Cody was walking around. That made me think they were going to show up. Yeah, but they didn't. And there was time left at the end of the show. So that was surprising.
That had vibes of, to me, like when him and Roman Reigns faced off in the ring and they both said they were going to come alone. That was sort of like just a copy and paste thing that they sort of did there, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew there was something going to happen. I didn't expect for the debut of Jacob Fatu on Friday. Yeah. I really didn't. And especially with all of the rumors lately. And this ties back into us saying that there's been so much that we haven't been able to, you know, predict. Yeah. Since Paul Levesque took over Triple H. But we all expected Jacob to come and help Roman and not Solo. So I'm waiting to see if they're going to put Jacob on the mic or if they're just going to leave him as one of the background guys. Because Jacob on the mic,
he's a main guy. Just in his debut, he had more presence than all three of the bloodline put together. Like, he makes Solo look like a wet sock.
That Samoan drop on the bottom half of the steel steps looked aggressive.
Yeah.
But, and I will probably talk about this later. Did you guys notice the look on Tongaloa's face at the end?
Yeah, he was reluctant to throw up the ones too.
He was like, and Tonga looked at Jacob Fatu a little weird too. Like, what's he doing here? But he threw up the one, like just threw it up, and Tonga Lower was like, wait a second, you know, what?
I mean, another interesting thing on that, just to kind of throw this onto the pile. There was another segment backstage where Solo said Roman isn't coming back, which builds that story even more.
You could think that Jacob might have taken him out, but I'm glad WWE stuck to the guns and he's not worried about them outshining Solo, and they put him on that side. But there's two reasons why I think they did the debut now, because I've heard rumors that Solo and Cody might get booked for SummerSlam, which would obviously open the door for a Roman return. But Jacob Fatu versus Cody is a much better match. And then the other thing. We're going to do the 6-man tag match that people have talked about with RKO and Cody versus the Bloodline. If Tongaloa couldn't get into Saudi Arabia because of his criminal record, I can't see him getting into Canada unless the government pre-approves him. I know Jacob Fatu had the incident, but I don't believe he was convicted of it, which would allow him to go into the country.
For those who have not watched any of Jacob Fatu's work, you should. He is I've been a fan of his for a while, because he is a former Arkansas, like a territory champion here in some of our local stuff. So I've seen him at local like house shows and stuff like that. Tremendously talented. What you saw Friday night is just a taste of what you will get.
I'm wondering because on Twitter afterwards, Zilla tweeted out.
Yeah, the bloodline thing. They're the blood drop.
But he tweeted out, he's like, I'll see you soon. And it's like, which way is he going with that? I'll see you soon is, I'm coming to get you, or is I'm coming to join you?
Or it makes you think, on the other side, a lot of people have been saying Roman Usos and Sami Zayn is the honorary Uso. Could be Zilla over there instead of Sami Zayn if he's going and doing something else.
Or if they keep it the way it is with Tonga Loa, having that hesitation, there's speculation that he might be on Roman's side, spying on or trying to keep the bloodline in check or spying on the bloodline for Roman. So when Roman comes back, he's going to turn his back on Solo.
I've heard that too.
I know.
One thing, One thing too is we're probably gearing up to a War Games match here, and who could we see on Roman's side? I've heard some people throw out. I know a few weeks ago I said about like a tag match with Roman and Cody. Do we see Cody possibly teaming up with Roman to take out, because The Rock would be a threat in this? Now he already has a problem with Solo on that side.
Well, Cody and Jay are tight, so
yeah.
And Rikishi said in an interview that Jimmy's going to be coming back, but debuting a new character. So which side is he going to go?
Is it a new gimmick or a new name? Do you know?
New gimmick, most likely.
Okay.
Because everyone's speculating that the new WWE trademark Cesar Solo is going to be Solo. Or Cesar
Sikoa.
Is going to be the bloodline. Everyone's there.
The NWO-esque bloodline.
We got bloodline forever, though, because freaking Solo has a couple kids. Each one of the Tongas have a couple kids. Jacob has 7.
Yeah.
So we got the bloodline for generations.
This is never going to end.
No.
I hope whatever they do, they don't merge them all together like NWO did and go that route. Like, you don't want that. There's so many. Like, you saw the family tree a while back. There's a lot of them, and there's more they could bring in. I mean, one thing I hope they were going to do, like whenever the high priests or whatever gave Roman that lay, I was hoping we were going to see more of the elders involved, which I think they could still do at some point. I'd like to see more of that angle. I think that would be cool.
I want to see Rikishi make an appearance, at least when Jimmy comes back, if Jimmy and Jay are still have that tension between them, Rikishi come back and, have them reconcile, do that. But the one thing you brought up, the NWO and all that stuff, one reason I don't think that that's going to happen with the bloodline is because the bigger guys, Roman, The Rock, like right now after WrestleMania, know when to take a step back and let the younger guys shine. And it's not just that ego there where they're going to, it's all about Roman, it's all about The Rock. We're going to do that until it's dead. They're willing to take that step back and say, okay, you guys do your thing now.
With WrestleMania being in Vegas too, does that where Rikishi lives? Because that's where Solo's build from. So that would be another question that I have. Okay, and then two is I don't think we'll see the elders until we get the actual Rock Roman feud started. I think they're going to put that on the back burner. But I still stand firm that it would be a good idea to bring Manu in at some point, because not only can he play in with this storyline on Roman's side, he can play into the legacy storyline when we do eventually get Cody and Randy.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
That could work.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, because I don't want them to I don't know. I feel like there's a good story here in a lot of ways they can go with it, but you don't want to rush it. I am glad that they're bringing the members in gradually so that it's not a whole bunch all at once, because then it'll be you won't be able to remember anyone's name because there's so many of them. You'll be like, I don't know who all these people are. So I like that they're giving you time to get to know them. I am wondering if they're having buyer's remorse about Solo though, with how he's just so boring. It feels like that they should want someone else to be your top bloodline guy. I don't know. He's not intimidating. I don't know. He's not believable to me.
I say he has come a long way since he first debuted. And when he actually picked up the mic and all that stuff, he has come a long way since then. He's still got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I'm not, and I think that's why they brought Jacob in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to touch on the other one, bringing Jacob in, he had been signed for a while, so you can tell that they were kind of figuring out what to do with him and build with him there, because they signed him forever ago. So we were all wondering when he was going to come in.
Once Solo sings the national anthem, I think he'll get a lot more comfortable on the mic.
By God.
When.
So the other segment, Drew McIntyre, who quit, returned with a bloody CM Punk in Chicago. Now that's how you get some freaking heat.
That was, I was a little disappointed at first, but as that segment progressed, I liked it. The whole beating on that back door and lifting it up to reveal CM Punk laying there bloody was decent.
Because that could have been the Wyatt Six for a lot of people that were probably.
That's what I thought it was.
And everything. Yep. It makes me curious too. I know they probably had him injure CM Punk so we can push the match back to SummerSlam, but I'm sure you guys have heard the rumors about Bad Blood, them being in the Hell in a Cell main event. This with a match with this much heat, you really can't do that. First match is just a generic match. I understand you could do like a street fight and then roll it into a Hell in a Cell, but it's sort of tough to keep that match going because you could have to have almost 3 matches at that point by the time you got to Bad Blood.
Yeah. It's funny. They're both Raw superstars and they're having a spat on SmackDown. I knew that draft wasn't going to be it was going to get porous after a while. So what do they do now with Drew? Is he he quit Raw? Do they move him to SmackDown? And if you do that, CM Punk's over on Raw. Like, what do you do from here? I feel like they backed themselves.
I thought they said Drew's going to be on SmackDown or Raw tonight.
Yep, he is.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, I think he's going to play it off. I said I quit just to, make CM Punk feel a little bit more comfortable and him thinking I wasn't going to show up to kill him type thing.
Yeah.
What about him grabbing the bracelet at the end? I heard his kid's name and AJ Lee was on there too.
His dog. His dog.
Okay, it was his dog. I'm sorry. Yep. But that could even set up to maybe an I Quit match, seeing what happened with Finn Balor and Edge too at some point.
Yeah.
And seeing he quit Raw and then now this.
I think they do a regular match at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Then leads into like a no disqualification match at what pay-per-views in September?
Bash in Berlin, I think so.
Yeah, Bash in Berlin. Yeah. And then from there, they're like, you know what? We couldn't, that we're still pissed off at each other. Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
Yeah. Another interesting promo was the LA Knight promo with Logan Paul showing up for the surprise attack. One thing was interesting was that LA Knight almost sounded like he wanted to win Money in the Bank and cash in on Logan, which would be different, would be cool, I think.
Between this and Chad Gable tonight, I got Chad Gable win that match. The only other guy I could see is Bronson Reed, maybe, but that would be a long shot. But with that and what LA Knight said, it sounds to me like this Money in the Bank briefcase is going to be used on a mid-card title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the subject of that, I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of us were curious about what happened to Chad Gable. Actually, we'll do the other one first. To talk about how awesome Chad Gable is.
Yep.
Cody Rhodes was out with a torn pec for 7 months. CM Punk tore in his tricep, out for 5 months. John Cena with a herniated disc, out for 5 months. Chad Gable took a headshot, back next week. And Adam Pearce obviously said, Chad Gable being medically cleared after last Monday is a testament to his tenacity and fortitude, despite the many, many dopes illogically saying he was shot in the head. And then Chad Gable tweeted out, or I think that's from Instagram, that he was going to be Master in the Bank tonight against Braun Strowman and Bronson
Master
Reed.
in the Bank.
I thought he should have changed his name to Commander Gable when he started going hard like this. But hey, it just shows what the strength of an Olympian is compared to all of us.
He should he never should have stopped saying thank you, according to the Wyatt Six.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that simple please and thank you, like your mama told you when you were younger.
Yeah.
So the Wyatt Six not showing up on SmackDown, I guess we'll anticipate what they're going to do on Raw tonight. What's next? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited for Raw in a while. I mean, the debut's here, and now I'm ready for the what's next.
I was excited last week, but I'm more excited now for the follow-up.
Yeah.
Because the other thing you said too, Jason, is maybe about them taking out Pat McAfee too with College Game Day coming up. Because as I said in the chat today, he's not slated to be on College Game Day right now because they really want to shake up that crew with their ratings going down last year. But there's a lot of fans lobbying for him to be on it. So I can't see with the contract that he has with ESPN and everything, him not being on it. So they will probably play that angle at some point. Yeah. They could, if they want to put him over his heels, that's a great way to get heel heat to take out Pat McAfee, who just got him these 3 big events in his hometown.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, if they take out Pat McAfee, they'll get slight heel heat. But I think at that point, you could put them as like a neutral faction. They took out Chad Gable, who's got heel heat now.
True,
Pat McAfee's got face heat or face energy, or he's so over right now.
I mean, Chad Gable survived being shot. Like, how do you not get over with that?
Headshot at that.
Yeah. I mean, how do you not get over that? That makes him almost a superhero at this point. Like, that's pretty impressive.
I'm surprised no one in the arena heard the gunshot. I mean,
it is pretty loud. I mean,
silencer.
Or they could use one of those cattle things like No Country for Old Men. They were in Texas.
So tonight, there's also the women's qualifier. It looks like Shayna, Lyra, and Kairi Sane. I wonder if Kairi will win. That'd be interesting.
I got Lyra.
I got Lyra winning.
I could dig it. That would be interesting.
With the way damage control is going right now, with Io Sky being really the only one that's been winning, I think they're going to go with Kairi Sane losing to give more energy to that, dismantling of the damage control.
Were they in any talks with Stardom at all? Because maybe if like with the CMLL and the AAA thing, because maybe they would bring some more Japanese talent in to redo damage control with EO being the leader, possibly.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's possible. Triple H or Vince wasn't the best with Japanese talent, but I think it could be better with the new regime. So I think there's definitely more potential than we had before. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing while I'm remembering it too, I don't know if you guys saw it in the sub, but the house show this past week, Cody Rhodes was apparently saying he had a rib injury from Friday night too. So I wonder if he's going to be at Money in the Bank because he had a match against Shinsuke Nakamura. Where we were talking about the Japanese wrestlers. That's what reminded me of it. And it looked like a pretty good match too because I saw a table broken in the corner from the picture.
Yeah, he came out and said he had 2 broken ribs, and they told him he could take the next couple days or house shows off, and he was like, I'm not doing it.
Yep.
So I wonder if that's part of like the storyline or if he really does have broken ribs.
Yep.
Oh man, it's so hard.
Hope it's an angle.
I do too.
Yeah, here's hang on, I have it now. That's what he said at the show. So he said 2 broken ribs. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think it's more to play up Jacob Fatu. I don't think it's a legit injury. I mean, you never know, but
broken ribs, I don't think they would let him have a match, especially if there was tables involved and stuff like that, because it's hard to breathe with broken ribs.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true. That rock tape ain't gonna hold that up.
Exactly. No, that ain't holding ribs together.
No, you're out of luck there. What do we think about the Wyatts tonight? What would you like to see them do tonight?
I think definitely Adam Pearce is gonna be involved in this somehow. It's just a matter of how it is. If he's gonna book them in certain matches with certain people they want, or outcast and bury people that have done people wrong that they help him with, something along those lines. Maybe I could say.
Or is Adam Pearce going to be the one in control of what the Wyatts do, because Adam Pearce had that run-in with Chad Gable, and he was like, I got something for you. And he did put him in that match with Braun Strowman, but Chad Gable did also come up at the end of the show hurt. So is Adam Pearce going to be the one pulling the Wyatt strings?
Oh, Oh, now that would be a twist. I'm here for that.
I would be down for that. Like literally, I would love it. But I think they're going to wait till the end of the show to kidnap probably Adam or Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Kidnapping angle would actually be pretty cool. Like, I could dig that. That'd be something different.
Keep him off his show too. Have the rest of them run it. Have it really be kayfabe.
Kind of one of those, we know you guys love him. Do what we say we want you to do, or do what we want you to do, and we'll let him go type thing.
Yeah, because they have to kind of make their motivations clear at some point, like why they're here, what they want, and what they're going to do. They have to clearly communicate that, because right now people don't know. Most people, casual fans, don't know who they are. I mean, so they have to have some kind of a message about what's going on and why they're here and who they are, so that they can see that they're more than just a fun-loving ragtag of gang that loves Whataburger like the rest of us. You know,
that was I liked it. I like that they post that photo, because that shows right there, I think, that they're not just going to be these mysterious guys behind the mask, that they'll actually talk on the mic now.
I think it's going to be one of those things where, like we discussed before, it's going to be they have that dark side of them, like when they're, taking people out. But then when they come to the ring, like Bray, they're going to have that Fiend side. They're going to have the in-ring side.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to, turn it on and off. Like when the voices are talking to them, as Randy says, the voices in their head.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, that could be an interesting, because I think it would give them more depth of character. Because I liked when Bray had the two sides. Like that was different. Like, I really liked the way that came across, because it made it like, I don't know, it wasn't so much creepy. It was like, it seemed troubled. And that was something that I hadn't seen in that way in a while. So, they could go from being these evil people on TV to wanting some Whataburger. Like, cool.
Because I mean, even with the Firefly Funhouse with Bray, he on this side of the door, he was Bray Wyatt, in the Firefly Funhouse, that happy-go-lucky, character. He had that gimmick. But the door behind him, that said, "Abandon all hope, ye who exit here." When he went through that door is when he became the Fiend.
And Bo Dallas can be fun if you remember the B team.
Yep. B team, go. Love that.
Did you guys see the rumors on too that Alexa Bliss will be the sixth member of the faction? She's just not ready to return yet, and that she's going to wear the Lily mask.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jason. This is one from your outlet. If you want to read that.
Yeah, what Bray did was, and that's my friend Rachel. What Bray did was make himself relatable with the different sides of him and the Fiend. And that's what I'm saying. I completely agree. He had that, side with the Firefly Funhouse, showed you, this side of him, but it also showed like all of us. And this is what drew me into the Bray character. And what's going to happen with the Wyatts now is everyone has both sides to them, that light and the dark. And that's why I like how they posted this photo with one of the fans, is because that's the light side of them, that side that you can relate to in the everyday world. But then on Raw, we saw that evilness of wanting to, hold people accountable.
Nikki Cross could get our good side as their superhero side. The butterfly costume.
Nikki ASH.
I like how she was wearing the Wyatt 6 shirt though.
Yeah. Dexter Loomis, I don't know what his good side. He's just creepy in general.
I love his new look though. I do love his new look with the longer beard, the longer hair.
It fits in because the rest of the guys all have the beard and the hair too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Rowan, I don't know. I mean, something. It would be interesting to see that though. Like get him Mr. Rogers sweaters and stuff like that.
Mr. Rogers.
I don't know. I don't know about bringing in Alexa though. I don't know. I feel like that was part of the past, and I wouldn't do it. I don't like the idea.
I forgot to mention this too on McAfee today. Triple H said that they might have an NXT event at the Thunderdome coming up soon too.
Oh yeah.
Here's another one.
And again, they're also going to able to do, or if I could talk straight, that would be great too. They are also going to be able to do something about the wrongdoings, do what the Fireflies, the fans, want them to do in a sense. Yeah, exactly. Like they did with Chad.
Yep. 100%.
You know, the fans aren't happy with the way things are going in a certain thing. You know, the Wyatts come out and take care of it for the fans.
That would be interesting. I'm trying to think of who else has been out there wronging people that would make them mad. I mean, Braun Breaker, obviously, he's out just ticking everybody off.
I do love the fact, though, that they posted this picture at Whataburger with a fan, and he's wearing a Mavs shirt the same day they lost to the Celtics. Minutes after they lost to the Celtics, they're all at Whataburger with him, and he's smiling.
They're helping the forgotten.
Poor kid.
Yeah, helping the forgotten, that's right. The beaten and bewildered.
There's a whole metaphor here. Like,
yes.
Beautiful.
It's exactly.
I wonder
this
what
fan pulling the strings. That's what
somebody commented on one of the pictures. Like, I wonder if they got regular ketchup or spicy ketchup, and it made me think of that episode of South Park, and it's like a terrifying napkin.
Good
haunted
Lord.
Hash browns. Freaky French fries.
It's funny looking at this picture, though, that the only person in the group that had to change their appearance to be part of it was Dexter.
Yeah.
And he had the most, like, the appearance of someone that looked like he could just go on a killing spree at any point. Yeah. And they still had him change his appearance.
I still love that moment when he put an axe through JBL's hat. The look on his face and everything. Yeah. That was a money moment for Dexter, in my opinion.
I want him to start carrying an axe everywhere.
He could. He was sort of doing it before, towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrion, I think it could be eventually be a good feud with them. The whole AOP. What are they calling themselves now?
Final Testament.
Final Testament. Yep.
The asshole destination. Never been a fan of Carrion, but you know they have Carrion, AOP, or the two guys from AOP and Nikki, so they have the same number of people and a female. So.
What freak show is this?
Yeah, it was. If you haven't watched wrestling in a while, the Wyatt 6 was a little bit of a what the heck is going on moment. Yeah. And it's a good time to start watching.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, this is the beginning of it. And I mean, obviously there's a lot of people involved in this. They've been planning it for a while. Like, this will definitely be long-term storytelling. So where they go from here. I mean, if you look at how long they did the QR codes just to get here, think about what's next. You know,
but even the whole Dreadmare YouTube channel was out a couple months before WrestleMania. So the only thing I'm scared about is them throwing them in the ring too fast, because these guys, some of them haven't been in the ring for a while, and injuries holding back their story.
The thing too with long-term booking, I love it, don't get me wrong, but the one problem, and this sort of goes along with Triple H back in his black and gold days too, when you use the slow burn, it can work so good sometimes, but on the other times we got like the Chad Gable and Otis thing. Unless there's something more in the future, we didn't get the full potential with the pop that turn could have been.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't drag it out too. And like you said, long-term storytelling, we've seen it though before, where they'll plant little pieces of like a story that you don't even notice until the payoff like 3 months later, and you're like, oh crap, that happened 2 months ago, which led to this. That's the kind of long-term storytelling I think that's going to happen with these guys, because we all know throwing them in the ring with these characters isn't like we've seen in the Bray documentary. It's not going to translate 100% accurately and perfectly. So I hope those little tidbit storytellings are gonna work for them.
I hope so. I really want this to pay off, because as people have pointed out, and they're right in a way, most of these people are mid-carders. I mean, they're all mid-carders. None of them have really been top-level talent. Nikki was a champion. Rowan was a champion. I think B-Team had the tag team titles at some point. So, I mean, in a way, they've been kind of hovering around, but nobody's really made an impression yet. So to lift them out of the mid card will take some work, and to make people aware of who they are. But also that could be a good thing, because probably a lot of people don't know who these people are. I mean, unless you watched NXT, you have no idea who Dexter Lumis is. They didn't use him on the main roster. Most people probably don't remember the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, if you didn't watch a storyline with the Miz and Dexter Lumis with Johnny Gargano, I mean, that was the only time he was really on the main roster. But I've had friends of mine that was like, I know Bo Dallas, I know Dexter Lumis from the Miz storyline, I know Rowan from the Wyatt family, but I don't know who Joe Gacy is.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good surprise.
Yeah, but I would love one of the best in-ring talents out of all these guys.
Yeah,
I would love to see them push Dexter and Joe as a tag team and push for the tag titles.
Yeah.
One thing too that I know I've seen people say that, and I've said this a few times in the sub. You got to remember the face of the company right now, Roman's out, and our WWE champion was a big card jobber at one point, and look at where he is now. So don't read into what they were in the past for what they can be in the future, especially when they're completely rebranded.
Yep.
Stardust is the face of the company. Yeah.
Yeah. When you think about
Damian Priest as well. I mean, in another way, still a higher up.
Yeah. If you look at where they came from in their past, when we saw Stardust, we were like, yeah, this dude's never going to be anything other than mid-card.
Yeah.
But now he's the face of WWE, and pretty much, in my opinion, and a lot of people don't agree with me, he is the next John Cena.
Yeah, I would agree. And some people said the same thing about Bray Wyatt. They're like, how is this guy going to get over? He's spooky and he's not a good wrestler and he's not fit and blah, blah, blah. I tell you, when he was on TV, there was not a single WWE show I went to where I didn't spot like 100 Fiend masks.
Yeah.
One quick question for you, Jason, in the regards to Cody compared to John Cena. Do you see him going Hollywood too, or just are you talking about specifically in the wrestling world?
I was talking more specifically in the WWE side of his career, because with what he does with the fans and the kids, and him getting more Make-A-Wish, appearances and all that stuff, and how over he is with the crowd. Like early Cena, he was a heel, he was a face. The fans still either loved him or loved to hate him. So I think when we see Cody go heel, we're going to see that the fans love to hate him, and it's going to be that same cycle that John Cena had. He's going to end up being a multi-time champion because WWE knows that he's money.
Well, he's also doing Hollywood. You remember he's going to be in the Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he's doing a cameo, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's where it starts. Yep.
Yeah.
And he always says, too, in his promos that he wanted to be an actor, ended up being a failed actor when he was selling the underdog story on his title chase. Yeah. So that's just one thing that I was curious to see what you guys thought about. If we see,
because he was taking acting classes, too, and he just failed at it. So he went to wrestling.
But
and a major... on that acting note, that's a really good point, because a lot of people watch him doing his face promos and they're like, he's stuttering, he seems uncomfortable, they're not that good. But if you watch his heel promos, they come more naturally to him.
Yeah. Yep. Because he doesn't have to hold back his words.
Acting classes help out so much too with their promo ability and everything on TV. Because, like, if you're looking to start off wrestling, the two things you should start before you do anything is doing acrobatics and acting classes. Those are the two things right there alone, in my opinion.
Acting classes with wrestlers are as big as I think ballet classes or dance classes help with NFL running backs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wide receivers too, both.
Yeah. I think everyone in WWE should be required to take an acting class at the Performance Center, and not just promo classes, but actual acting classes, so they can learn how to portray the emotion that they're saying. Because we've seen it a lot in promos where they'll be like acting like they're angry, but it doesn't show it on their face.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we need to, they need to start implementing that in the PC, I think.
It can come across as robotic in some of them, I think. What are those?
Emojis.
It's the character.
It's the Wyatt Six.
Yep.
That's
awesome.
I was like, wait a minute. I'm taking this off because it's a Rangers logo, so that's all you're going to get that one.
Hey, they're having a rough year. It's not looking like they're going to repeat this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Yankees got it this year.
I don't know. They're on a little bit of a skid the past week.
We
And
can't win them all.
Stanton just hit the DL too, I believe.
Yeah, we can't lose them. We can't win them all.
No.
Well, we were talking about long-term booking too. When they have Roman return, if they have the 6-man tag match at Money in the Bank that people are rumoring, and Seth versus Priest, who do we think Roman goes after? Does he go after Seth for costing him the championship, or does he go after Solo for the bloodline stuff?
I don't think Roman is going to go after titles for the time being.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of ascended beyond that, and I think he can be used as more of a storyline element than chasing a title. So I think that's how he factors in when he comes back, because he's the head of the table, obviously. So he's the one who's over everybody, whether they want to admit it or not. He's the head of the table. Solo is doing a lot of mouth running and this, that, and the other, and it's kind of like he's got to come back and fix that. And
he's gonna come back and be like, "You thought I was? You said I wasn't gonna be coming back. Let's talk about this real quick."
And you know the pop when that theme song hits and the choir starts singing. Like,
does he come out to his old theme song, or does he come out to the Bloodline music?
No, he's gonna do the new theme song. You're not gonna have him coming out with that it's not gonna be that Roman. It's no.
Because the only thing I think is if they're going to put the title belt on Gunther, if they do end up doing that, that would be a great way to have him cost Seth the match, and then you get that feud right there, and it doesn't have to be for a title.
That's the one thing we highly disagree on. Is I don't think they'll ever put the title on Gunther. Ever.
They will.
I think this is why they think they will. Triple H loves him, and look at how long he had that IC title on him. So even though it per se doesn't sell tickets, like you said, we thought that IC title reign was long. I think he could do an even longer one with him as the world heavyweight champion. Personally, myself.
And the heavyweight champion isn't the one they put on the marquee. They put Cody and the WWE title on the marquee, and I think that's the reason that's the title he'll get. I don't think he'll get the WWE title.
The only way I think they give Gunther the title is if he wins it at Bash in Berlin, loses it on Monday. So he gets over with his hometown crowd.
Yeah.
But we've seen it, though, with Drew.
Yeah.
Hunter's not opposed to letting people lose in their hometown after everyone expects him to win.
Surprising, yeah. That used to be a sure thing.
Yeah.
He cares more about storytelling.
Yeah. So that's a definitely different thing that we have now.
Gunther for the title at Bash in Berlin, and Vinci comes back and costs him the title.
Oh, could do that too. But he's on SmackDown now too.
But nobody knows who Vinci is. I mean, we do. People watching this do. More hardcore fans, they know who Vinci is. But if Vinci shows up, nobody knows who he is.
The other thing is how long, like I know we could get the Finn Balor, Damian Priest feud, but we could do that without a belt. Why would we put the belt back on Seth Rollins? I understand we took it off of him because he has an injury, but we just saw him as the fighting champion for months before that. It's not gonna bring any more prestige to the belt, and I just don't think we get all that much out of it if Seth ends up winning it.
I don't think Seth gets it, only because I think they can, with Seth and Cody, bring back Roman and have them feud with the bloodline until they get to the Civil War and bring back more of the bloodline on Roman's side. They don't need a title in that story. So giving it to Seth doesn't make sense because then he'd have to feud with someone else outside of the Roman story.
Yeah. I don't know. I would definitely like a Seth and Roman moment of some kind. I think it would be cool.
And then could we even have CM Punk cost him the title? And we got a triple threat between McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins maybe at SummerSlam too, because they were originally, as you were saying, Jason, that's why you thought Drew quit, that they were going to do that CM Punk Seth Rollins match at SummerSlam. So maybe they'll just give us all three guys somehow feuding.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everything nowadays is triple threat matches. So when
CM Punk came back at Survivor Series, Seth wasn't happy because Seth and CM Punk had legit heat. And Drew was the same way. He literally hated Punk outside of the ring. So, I mean, the three of them in a triple threat could be a good story.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that would be interesting. I feel like there's a lot of. I think it's going to be a good year. This is going to be one of those marquee years I think we look back on, kind of like SmackDown in the late 2010s and I think this is going to be one of those good marquee years for both shows, especially since SmackDown's looking better. That made me happy. I hope that's not a fluke, though. I hope it continues.
But Chad, like you said in our chat the other day, it's I agree that I think the road to SummerSlam with Roman's coming back, I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting than the road to WrestleMania.
No
took
doubt.
the words right out of my mouth. I think our road to SummerSlam is going to be better than our road to WrestleMania. 100%.
Absolutely. It's going to be tremendous. I'm so stoked for it. I think SummerSlam could be one of those pay-per-views that like you talk about in the years to come, because the roster right now is so loaded. Like, it could be so good. I mean, if you look top to bottom with where we are now and where we're going to be in a few months, that road is paved with riches right now. My dogs agree. It's going to be incredible.
I'm going to buy SummerSlam on VHS right after. like when I was a kid. Put it right next to my WrestleMania 8 VHS.
One thing I want to bring up too before we go off is, what do we think about Triple H not wanting to reunite the Hurt Business?
I saw that those somebody posted those MVP, I guess, was going off on Instagram, and like somebody posted a screen cap of all those things he said, and I was really surprised. I mean, that was shocking, to say the least.
Yeah, with him still under contract.
Yeah.
MVP is a little pissed off at WWE right now too. If you didn't see those tweets saying that the Bloodline story was officially supposed to be the Hurt Business,
wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have.
Would have went over like a wet fart. Like there was no potential in it. Nothing.
They did it right though with Roman, and because there is legit stories behind those backstories to when they were kids, and it just brings the realism to that storyline, which I like.
Absolutely.
I thought the timing of it was weird personally myself too, with Juneteenth being this week, and then we saw on Who Killed WCW them putting the belt on Booker T and him bringing up the racial thing, because I thought that was very weird timing for these two events to happen and them to say that. Like, I understand how he could be mad that Omos is on the back burner, but in all honesty, I think the best thing for Omos is send him down to NXT and put him in a match with Obafemi, as I've seen on some people say on the sub.
I mean, on that subject, Omos is about as boring as a paper bag. Obafemi is fantastic, and he's a champion. So Omos is not getting over because of anything else going on in the world right now. He's just not interesting at all.
His best work was standing in front of the door to Underground. Being Shane's bodyguard to Underground. That was his best work yet.
Oh, that's the other thing. We hadn't talked about that. I don't think we talked about that last week. The potential for Shane McMahon to go to AEW.
Oh, I saw that. He's been contacting several wrestlers over there, several talented behind the scenes people.
I don't think it'll happen, but I think it could only help them if it happened. Look at how bad that creative team is right now. They need something to spark it up, because it looks like you watch the Who Killed WCW documentaries. I keep mentioning it, but there's just so many similarities between them and AEW. And you look like the Young Bucks right now when Kevin Nash was running it. It's literally the same thing. And this is proving CM Punk right. And even though the assault on Jack Perry wasn't the best, but it's proving what Punk did, and he's the guy in the right pretty much.
And you look at when SmackDown was at its best, the AJ Styles years, those were also the Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan years. Like, Shane McMahon he knows the stuff. I mean, that's a creative force.
Interesting though. Shane, even if they played it as a story, but if they did it legit, Shane buys AEW. And we finally, because when WCW got bought by Shane, they absorbed WCW and everything happened on Raw or on SmackDown. If they did an angle like that and actually partnered with AEW and have Dynamite still on the air with Raw and SmackDown still on the air, and having feuds that way where wrestlers show up on each other's shows instead of just the invasion angle that WCW and WWE did. I think that would be a great, way to get, fans in the seats at AEW shows.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It would
And
be
we
that
would
would be
finally
really
see that
interesting.
legit invasion angle of a McMahon buying another company and feuding with WWE.
Because you got to think, like, back in the 90s when this happened, like, if the internet was like it was now, we would have known Vince was buying WCW. Like, it
Yeah.
would have been out there. There would have been filings and loans and trademark apps and stuff like that. Like, the way stuff gets around now, we would have known before he showed up on Nitro. But when it happened then, it was a surprise and none of us knew it was coming.
Yep.
So now perhaps this is maybe some discussions going on and he wants to weasel his way in. I mean, it could happen. It
could.
Maybe not, but it's
Or
interesting.
If Shane and Triple H are still on good terms, you know, him getting involved in AEW, he can put those bugs in Tony's ear that Triple H wants him to. So
you're going to have the forbidden door is going to be like the gaping door, and you're going to have the Ultimate Survivor Series where Moose is going to face off against like Damian Priest, who's going to face off against like who's the champ over there
MJF.
now?
Swerve Strickland's champ.
Swerve
like
Strickland's
all of them. Yeah. Oh my god.
The one thing with Shane though, if he goes on that creative team, he can't write the story around himself. Do like what he tried to do
Doing
in the
his
Royal
matches
Rumble.
and all. Yeah.
Can't
He's
have that happen.
he's best in the world.
Yep. As we saw at WrestleMania last year, I don't think Shane should ever be in the ring again.
Yeah,
because
I forgot about that. You're right.
He stands up and hurts himself. Just like his dad when he blew out both of his quads jumping into the ring and then just sat in the corner.
Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna be interesting. Well, I guess before we head out, y'all have anything else?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we covered a lot today for not even having to do Raw, so I think that's about it.
A lot of
Good
news going on right now. Pretty
I was gonna say
excited
we could do
this
some Money in the Bank prediction matches too for tonight and Friday night, because I know we already did the Lyra and Braun thing. Let me see what we got for Friday night. I got them here. Hold on.
I got Lyra winning that match.
Yeah.
Chad winning
Chad.
because I think obviously with the Braun Strowman, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, Big Head's going to get involved.
Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria, she's definitely going to get over in that match. Kofi against Carrion
for the SmackDown. For the SmackDown matches, we got Logan Paul, Santos, and LA Knight, Jade Cargill, Candice LeRae, and Tiffany Stratton, and Naomi Blair Davenport finally getting the match in Indy Hartwell.
LA, as much as I want LA Knight to win, I think Logan Paul will win that one because at some point he will be WWE champion. He will be a main card champion because they like him and they want that. Tiffany because she still needs her shot, and Blair because I'm a Blair mark.
I still think LA Knight's going to win. He's going to win the Money in the Bank, cash it in on Logan.
And then
what were the other two SmackDown matches?
Pardon, what'd you say, Jason?
What were the other two SmackDown?
It's Jade Cargill, Candice LeRae, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi Blair, and Indy Hartwell.
I think Indy's going to win.
I got Naomi personally myself. Naomi, I'll go with Tiffany, and then I'm still gonna go with LA Knight for this match. But I think we could see at Money in the Bank, LA Knight's about to get the briefcase, and Logan Paul pushes that ladder over.
Yeah,
Indy's gonna win only because they're pushing her husband in the Wyatt Six. I mean, if you're gonna push Dexter Lumis, push his wife.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I don't know if many people are going to remember that storyline, but in the annals of history, that's one of the defining moments of what makes us people is that storyline.
Dexter Lumis actually talked.
I know the look when they panned around and they showed people's faces after he said that. It was like, it was such a great moment.
Oh, the other thing too is for NXT. What do we think about tag team turmoil?
Oh, tomorrow night. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so participants. Let's roll down here and see. Idris and Malik, Chase U, the OC, and New Catch Republic. Ooh, nice. Chase U probably, because they seem to be pushing them a lot. OC just had their shot. New Catch is I mean, they need to be on the main roster doing more stuff. They should have been main roster champions. And Idris and Malik seem to be jobbers at this point. So Chase U is the only one who have any legit storyline or any skin in the game.
Yeah,
that's true.
As much as I want to see the OC get more of a push, Chase U after last week.
We also have Trick Williams facing off against Sean Spears. Didn't say it's for a title.
Sol Ruka versus Ariana Grace also, and then Nathan Frazier versus Tony D for the Heritage Cup.
And Damon Kemp and Tavion Heights.
Wait, Trick and Sean Spears tomorrow night?
Yeah, but it doesn't say it's for a title. It just says Trick versus Sean.
Yeah.
That Damon Kemp Tavion Heights match is just weird. I'm not really the biggest fan of this Charlie Dempsey angle, having him try to be like Tony D for him to, when he just said, "Oh yeah, I'll be in the new catch," or no, I'm sorry, new quarter catch crew, no problem. Oh, I'm gonna go into, you got to go into a match now and fight Damon Kemp.
And they today announced Wesley and Joe Coffey tomorrow night.
I hope Wes wins that one. I'm really sick of seeing him get buried to gals.
That's a hell of a comeback. It's so disappointing. I feel for him. I really do. You deserve better, man. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. So Raw tonight would be good. NXT, we got SmackDown, and then of course we have the Speed tournament, which apparently is going to be going into the foreseeable future. So more of that in the coming weeks. So
Zao and Nathan Frazier.
The match that nobody asked for and nobody will be watching.
You don't want to do a special episode to cover it, huh?
I mean, I probably could. Like, I could probably drag it out. I think we lost Jason. I could probably drag it out. I mean, 3-minute match. We could go move by move and probably elevate that somehow. Jason just texted. He said he lost internet. So, okay. We'll sign off on that note then, since Jason already dropped out. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Of course, everybody on our YouTube, the new audience over on Twitter now that we are multi-streaming, and of course the people who are watching on our Twitch or on Jason's Twitch as well now that we're also streaming over on Twitch. Thanks for being here for that. And then for those who are new to the show, we do air an audio replay as well. You can find that on all your favorite platforms: Amazon, Spotify, Overcast, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere. So thanks for tuning in. And if you're new, we do weekly episodes, sometimes midweek episodes. So stay tuned for those as well. And I think that's all we're going to have for today. So thanks for stopping by. And Ascendant will play us out.